Today, we're talking about the big four electrolytes. Let's dive right into this because I had a request from a listener who was saying that I did a talk on electrolytes and they wanted me to do a deeper dive. So my name is Matt. I'm from workanywherelife and I'm a certified nutritionist, fitness expert, and former world champion. So I know a little bit about what's required for being a good athlete and just overall general health. The electrolytes, if you look at that word electro, they are responsible for the body's electrical system and nerve conduction. That's their major function. Although quite often they are associated with other things which they are part of, but really their process is for nerve conduction and signaling processes throughout the body. So let's take a look at the big four: calcium, magnesium, potassium, and sodium, and why some of these get vilified in the medical community. Let's start with calcium. You know, most of the time people think about calcium, they think about strong bones and teeth. I was told as a child, drink your milk, it helps build strong bones and teeth, makes you grow up big and strong. The calcium in dairy products may or may not be the most absorbable, but it's there and it's important. But why is it important beyond building strong bones and teeth? The signaling piece of that, and if you notice at the end of each of these, let me back up just a moment: calcium, potassium, magnesium, sodium, right? These big four are real easy to remember as electrolytes. And remember that they're responsible for the electrical grid in the body. So in that regard, calcium is involved in muscle contraction. So when you squeeze, when you lift and so forth, that is your muscle contraction, and calcium plays a major role in that. It also helps blood clotting, and it's a cellular messenger for nerves and hormones. So without enough calcium in your body, not only do your bones lack the building blocks that they need, your bones and teeth, but your nerves are not, and your muscles aren't getting the minerals that it needs for proper contraction. Now contrast that with magnesium. Magnesium is the relaxer. That's responsible for relaxing the muscles, allowing them to open. So there's where we have both of these working together, and calcium and magnesium should be taken every day so that you can both clench and release as part of that process of muscle contraction and relaxation. Right, very, very important. But magnesium is responsible for so much more. It's involved in 300 to 500 different processes, and it interacts with 300 plus enzymes. It's just so critical, and so many people, especially here in the United States, are deficient in magnesium. Why? Because you're not eating pumpkin seeds, nuts, leafy greens, taking mineral-rich supplements, that sort of thing. So we're missing it, and magnesium is something that is burned off throughout the day due to stress. Alcohol will help burn that off. Physical energy, workouts, sweating, all of that releases magnesium from the body. And then if you're not eating a good salad, you're not eating nuts, you're not replenishing that very well. So that's where people end up in the night with a process between calcium and magnesium. If they're deficient in that, then you're getting cramps and spasms and so forth in the muscles. So when people talk about their leg cramps and their what's that word for that? The nighttime leg spasms, then that is probably related to a calcium and magnesium imbalance or deficiency. Potassium now. Potassium, we always say, eat bananas, they have potassium, right? That's your vitamin K. And the first thing when a baby is born, at least here in the United States, is they give them an injection of vitamin K. And that's a controversial subject I'm not going to dive into right now. But why is vitamin K, potassium, so important, and why do we consider it so critical? It's the rhythm keeper in the body, and it's responsible for heart rhythm. And big part of that is, again, the communication and nerve impulses, nerve conduction throughout there. It's also responsible for balancing fluids within the cells, and it supports proper muscle contractions. So it works hand in hand with calcium and magnesium. Now, potassium lives inside your cells. It balances sodium outside the cells. It keeps this blood pressure steady and the muscles working smoothly by balancing sodium, calcium, magnesium, all of that. So if you're low on potassium, that can lead to fatigue, cramps, and heart irregularities. So do you think potassium is important? Absolutely, absolutely. But how that works with sodium, sodium is the fluid commander. So sodium, this drives me crazy when somebody gets put on a low sodium diet and then they start losing their brain function. Why? Because sodium is what allows water to cross the blood-brain barrier. So basically your brain is dehydrating if you're on a low sodium diet. So sodium is responsible for blood volume and hydration, and again that enables nerve transmission, because if your body is dehydrated, the nerves are not able to, you know how water is a good conductor of electricity. Well, that happens in your body and in your cells as well. It supports muscle contraction again, so it works hand in hand with the potassium, calcium, and magnesium, and it helps transport nutrients into the cells. So sodium gets a bad rap because the old saying, and this is not so much the case anymore, is to say it causes your blood vessels to stiffen. Well, that's if a lot of other factors come into play as well. It's not that sodium on its own is the bad player here and does it all by itself. So, but without it, you faint, you get cramps, you feel a little bit wiped out, and that's because, again, your cells are dehydrated. So the issue isn't sodium itself, but it's the presence of sodium, mainly from basic sodium from processed foods, not a good natural sodium. But without the presence of potassium and magnesium there to balance the whole process. Your body is a very complex system, and it's like baking a cake. If you were to bake a cake and you follow all the directions, you have all the ingredients except for the eggs, what's going to happen to that cake? Well, it might taste okay. It's going to be pretty flat, not very fluffy at all, and it's not going to be what you wanted out of it. So this is the same situation with electrolytes. We need a balance of calcium, magnesium, potassium, sodium, and a few other things in there too, but those are the big four, to make it all work. So too much sodium without potassium, blood pressure rises. Too much calcium without magnesium, tension and cramps. Hydration without the electrolytes, water just flushes right through the system. And then you get an issue where you're actually flushing minerals out of your kidneys because they're not being absorbed into the body properly. Really, hydration and electrolytes is all about the electrical systems within the body, making sure that everything is talking to each other properly and that the sparks are flying the way they should. All right. I hope that helps clear this up, give a little bit more detail. I would ask, if you run into, and I'm not a doctor, I'm not giving medical advice, but I will tell you that there are questions you should ask in more detail if somebody says you need a low sodium diet, or you're tired but you need medication, when really it could be just magnesium, or you're on a medication and they tell you that you can't have bananas because you can't have the potassium. You're now starting to break pieces of that system, and you would want to ask a lot of questions, and I would highly recommend you consult a naturopath, in addition to your regular primary care, of course, but get a second opinion from a different point of view and put the pieces of the puzzle together that make sense for you. I hope that helps. If you like more of this, go to my website at workanywherelife, where you can find more information about health, nutrition, travel, and then go to my YouTube channel at themattrandall, where you can get more videos like this and lots of great information. Comments. Leave me comments. What topics would you like me to talk about? All right? Got a little knowledge in the noggin. I'd love to share it with you. So just leave some comments, get in touch with me, contact me through the website, and subscribe to the blog, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Get some electrolytes in your system on a daily basis, and drink plenty of water, folks. All right, to your health.